Hi, I'm Lezli Engelking. I am the president and founder of F.O.C.U.S. We write international quality and safety standards for all aspects of the cannabis industry. My background is in nonprofit mental health. From there, I went into pharmaceuticals for 13 years. As much as I fell in love with the cannabis industry, coming from a highly compliance-driven background like pharma, I noticed immediately that there were no quality and safety standards. When I started asking around in the industry to the different industry associations and the leaders of the industry, everyone sort of said, yeah, we know we need standards, we don't have time to do it. We're treating people with compromised immune system with cannabis, so it's very important that we're not making them sicker or even taking people that use cannabis recreationally and turning them into patients because the cannabis is not safe. The 2007 Trade and Taxation Act actually mandates that the federal government consider voluntary consensus standards while writing regulations, and it goes so far as to say that they can actually use the standards as regulations. So we've followed all of those guidelines to make sure that we're sort of set up and doing things the right way. In the 80s, when the heroin epidemic swept throughout the United States, within 2 years, methadone clinics had popped up in every state, and they were operating under different state and city and county regulations, much like cannabis is today in the United States. When the federal government took a look at that 2 years in and said, whoa, we've got to do something to protect for health and safety, they released a request for proposal for somebody to develop voluntary consensus standards and a third-party certification platform for those clinics. Our business model, long-term is sort of that same thing. While the federal government hasn't reached out and asked somebody to develop the voluntary consensus standards or a certification platform, eventually they will, and we have a plug-and-play solution. In any other industry that's food, drug, or pharmaceutical related, the licensing agency creates good manufacturing practice standards. That's what businesses get audited to and follow. In this industry, it's mostly voter initiative driven, so somebody writes the initiative and it gets passed, and whatever agency is responsible for the licensing and control of that industry has a very small specific window of time that they have to create the regulations. Having never done it before, knowing nothing about cannabis, having to hire a staff and train them. So the only way that the regulations currently address quality and safety is through testing, which is reactive. Our standards are the steps that you should follow so that when you go get your product tested, you know the result that you will have. F.O.C.U.S exists to serve regulators and business owners, and we work intimately with both sides of the industry that way. But we really are here to protect health and safety in the environment. So patients, consumers, the public, those are our stakeholders as well. Check out our website, focusstandards.org, and learn more.